It is Tuesday, March 16th, and it has been 5 days since my last video. However, up until today, it would have looked like it's been a month. But my last two videos, of course, if you don't know, were given strikes. However, my latest appeal for my latest video, I received an email today, this morning, saying that it was reviewed and that it did not violate their guidelines and it was a mistake, and the video has been placed back up and the strike taken down. So I only have one strike now on my channel, and it seems some human being somewhere with a soul did the right thing, because I would say it was maybe flagged by a bot or something, because the reality of it is I'm just a dude walking through the woods talking about his life experiences, and everyone has a right to do that. I don't claim to be a doctor walking around with a thing on my head and a stethoscope and a scientific master's degree and, you know, degrees in virology and biology. I proclaim to be exactly who I am. So, so generally just say, oh, medical misinformation, when my last video did nothing but talk about my experience in taking a road trip down to Arkansas and the differences in the states along the way and Arkansas itself when I went down for my father-in-law's funeral a couple of weeks ago, which is one of the other reasons I didn't get right back on when my other strike was lifted. So I would encourage you, if you want to watch it, the last video, to do so. So I'm not going to ramble on much here and take away from that, because really, this is the first day it would have been up. It got 12 views in 2 hours, and then it disappeared the night it went up, Thursday night. Went up about 10:30 p.m. Eastern, and it was gone by 12:30 Eastern. So in that video, I even said, we'll see how long, you know what I mean? It's crazy. But again, doesn't mean I don't appreciate whatever person did actually review it and realize, put it the fuck back up. So that being said, without getting all contemplational and emotional and philosophical, I wanted to address the fact that, you know, small little accounts like this and anybody that's doing anything to speak out about what they know to be right, especially when it comes to the foundational aspects of morality and rights and freedom, history, repetitive pattern, the correlative points of research, things like that, whether they're someone with 100,000 subscribers or 1.5 million, whether they've been around for 30 years or 3 or a month. It's going to take people speaking out, speaking their true feelings. What most people see when they look at this is a flu with 99.00, what is it, 2 or something % chance of dying from. Not saying people don't die from the flu, but the realization is that their own numbers, their own expert numbers tell you this. So to see that should make you want to ask questions. Now, whatever you come to the conclusion of at the end of those questions is your right. Even if you think, okay, man, I think I should wear a mask and I should get a vaccine and I'll be protected. That's fine. The problem is when people push this onto others. They don't have a right to not only push things onto others, but literally things that people who, based on their own understanding of their own ownership of their body, choose not to do to themselves. So I really come from that aspect. And to contemplate on that and life itself, the Monopoly board we were all running at some points in our lives, some as short as a year ago. A year ago this began here. certainly earlier in other places. And to go back to then, if you knew that a year from then, you'd be not only in the same place, but in an environment where businesses have been destroyed, where people are applying for first-time benefits, unemployment benefits, by hundreds of thousands each week, literally up to 700,000 each week, to see and understand the economic woes that are coming from the stopping of the free flow of money that has occurred from all of this, and the application of technology that is threatening to privacy, freedom, and the actual obtaining of resources, potentially, with corporations deciding who can come in and out, who the privileged people are, and who the dirty people are. Because you won't do something that you know yourself you don't want to do to your own body. If you can't look at that and realize, you know what? Maybe I'm here in this life for a little bit more than the job title, or the parental role, or the friend role, or the good neighbor role, or the guy working down the shop role, or the guy who likes cars, or sports, or music, or whatever it is, party atmosphere, whatever it is. Maybe there's more to this in my existence. So what have I learned so far about myself? And contemplate these things and bring yourself to a point of, realizing yourself, have I ever stood up for anything outside the norm that is potentially consequential to me in a meaningful aspect, meaning a job or a friendship or a relationship, or facing physical harm for interfering in the stopping of someone else from receiving physical harm, by breaking up or trying to bring peace to an argument, or whatever it is. And if the answer is no, well, then you need to look in that mirror and ask yourself why. What has stopped you? What have you seen that you haven't? And face those demons, because if the answer is yes, you know why you did those things. Now, assessing the situation. Were they for personal gain? Were they for things that only involved you? Or were they for the actual, in the moment, happenstance of what is right or wrong? I can look in the mirror and know that every decision I've made to do so, whether it was good or bad for me, was made based on that. Most of the things I've gotten most of the shit for had nothing to do with me, whether it's at work or just a policy or something going on around me that is highly, highly wrong, including physical altercations. And I do not mean in that police uniform. I mean outside of it, my entire life. Because of the experiences I had as a child and had to bring myself out of, while being bullied in certain aspects of my adolescence and having to go through that alone, and what luckily I learned from it, as opposed to the dwelling in anger and the hating of other people for it. Some people take away that experience. So those things are hard to get through, let alone realize yourself and then want to change. But these are the things that have to be done if you're going to be strong enough to know that your divine spirit, your soul, your awareness, your consciousness, that whether you're religious or not or scientific, has been proven scientifically to exist outside the body in its origin. Like a radio announcer in the radio is not inside the little box at home. Whatever angle you're coming from, and realizing that that divine spark is eternal, that is the all, that is each and every one of us, that is everything, and that this brief experience is a gift to bring true freedom, the understanding of what is right, and standing in truth and morality. The manifestation then would be freedom to this experience. We have been enslaved as a species for the entirety of it. Rulers, kings, queens, monarchs, dictators, and yes, governments and presidents and prime ministers. They are all one unit. They are all a form of authority that believes they can tell you you're going to do what you don't want to do, even though you've decided it's going to hurt you, even though you've decided it is your own body and you're not going to do it. And if you don't do it, we're going to beat you up, put you away, or just simply cut you out of the entirety of civilization, and you can't eat. Oh, that sounds fair. Like, you know, when the fuck are we going to actually realize, you know what, this bullshit is over. This is not the lesson I'm taking out of here, is to capitulate and show those that emulate me, whether it be friends or family, my children, neighbors, whoever, that that's the way to be. Because that's why we're in this mess. Too many people are apathetic to allow evil to just take place, to allow the wrong thing to occur, to either not stick their neck out for personal reasons or actually not give a shit or actually tell themselves that's business so they can get that next raise or go to lunch with the upper echelon without being someone who opens their mouth and causes problems, and then maybe not getting invited to lunch, and then maybe not getting that next promotion, and then maybe not being able to walk around even more like you're important, when all that shit is fake. Because all that shit is owned by these motherfuckers right now. You're either going to do what they say or you're going to lose that. According to them, simply taking your own power back and understanding, no. Not going to happen. Saying no, not doing it. And more people individually understanding that the power is with us to stop them from doing it, because we're the ones that have to comply to this nonsense. Of course, you're going to have people, knee deep in fear, because we've had years of absolutely horrible parenting and poison indoctrination as a substitute. Psychologically done in its origin, purposely, when it comes to the indoctrination and the breaking up of that stronger family unit that would morally outweigh people struggling in life and trying to get by and having issues in their relationships and divorce and loves, loving themselves problems and self-respect problems and all the things that then filter down into that child you're raising just by them being in that atmosphere. And that, of course, all a direct result from the same process being repeated generation after generation. We've been duped. We've been brought to a state of self-woe, and it's time to pick yourself up and realize, you know what, enough's enough. This is ridiculous. Otherwise, it's going to move the way they want it to move. That can happen. God's not up there making sure evil doesn't run amok. Evil's been running amok here for a hell of a fucking long time. We have to be the ones to say no and not allow that to occur. As Jesus taught. Again, more things that people just want to believe in a savior instead of embodying the principles and understanding what was being taught through his allegories, parables, stories, and experience that you are supposed to be taking into yourself. Realize the man was saying the same things about government, religion, and money that we're talking about right here and right now. That's about to take control of everyone's lives through this technocratic hell that they think everyone is stupid enough to just say, okay, that's what I'm going to do. When most people can see, minimally, strange things are afoot at the Circle K, let alone those that can go further, research, and provide actual physical evidence that strange things are afoot at the Circle K. So regardless of what people do, for me, it's about what you realize you don't get to tell other people to do. You do what you want. You don't get to tell others, whether you're in a uniform, whether you're a neighbor, whether you're an employee of a store, whether you're a passerby or a parent. You don't get to tell people what to do, what they can say, what they can hear, what they can learn, and what they can know for themselves. If we can understand that very simple, basic, third grade, first grade, maybe kindergarten, preschool concept, maybe we'll get ourselves out of this mess. People need to develop the courage to do so. That's what this is all about. Being an example to others, so that maybe within themselves that light will go on. Anyway, love you guys. Get learning, get speaking.